Did you know that every tree in a forest is connected to every other tree through an underground communication network that has existed for 400 million years? Trees are not solitary, they are networked, and what they communicate through this network will completely change how you look at every forest you have ever walked through. In 1997, a forest ecologist named Suzanne Simard published a paper in the journal Nature that changed how scientists understand plant life. She had spent years studying forests in British Columbia, injecting radioactive carbon into birch trees and tracking where it went. What she found was impossible by everything science believed at the time. The carbon moved, not through the air, not through root contact, through a network of fungi living underground, connecting the roots of one tree to the roots of every other tree around it. She called it the Wood Wide Web. Here is what the network actually does. When a tree is under attack from insects, disease, or drought, it sends chemical warning signals through the fungal network to surrounding trees. The surrounding trees receive the signal and begin producing defense chemicals before they are attacked. The trees are warning each other, but it goes further. Older, larger trees, which Simard called mother trees, were discovered to preferentially send nutrients through the network to younger, weaker seedlings nearby. They were feeding their offspring, specifically, selectively, deliberately, through a network they cannot see, using a language we do not have a word for. To offspring they will never have the cognitive experience of recognizing, and yet they do it. Research has shown that when a mother tree is dying, when it is logging cut or disease killed, it floods the network with one final pulse of nutrients and information, sending everything it has to the trees around it before it goes. Scientists are careful not to use the word intention when describing this, but they have no better word for what they are observing. Here is how large this network is. 1 teaspoon of healthy forest soil contains more fungal connections than there are stars in our galaxy. More than 300 billion individual fungal networks in 1 teaspoon of dirt. The network beneath an old-growth forest can span hundreds of kilometers, connecting thousands of trees in a single, continuous living communication system. This network has existed since trees first appeared on Earth, 450 million years ago, before the dinosaurs, before fish developed lungs, before anything walked on land. The internet we built has existed for about 50 years. Theirs has existed for 450 million. Here is what this means. A forest is not a collection of individual trees. A forest is a single organism. What looks like 1,000 separate lives is, underneath the surface, one continuous conversation, one continuous act of cooperation, one continuous act of care. The next time you walk into a forest, understand that the quiet you feel is not absence. It is a conversation you do not have the senses to hear, happening beneath every step you take. Subscribe to MindShift Facts Official, because reality is more extraordinary than anything we were taught in school, and we are just getting started. Comment below. What is the first thing you thought of the moment you heard that trees send nutrients to their offspring before they die? I want to read every single one. Share this with someone who thinks science is boring. Watch what happens.